Water. Water is the source of life. Meet our needs, water our fields, and grow our food. Water is very important for all living things. We use water to wash cars, clean food, and generate energy. Water is influential in all of our daily activities. Without it, civilization will become extinct. The government will be destroyed, paralyzed by the invincible enemy, drought. It was only a matter of days, less than a week, before all living things on earth perished. In essence, we cannot live without water. 2 days ago we were all forced to experience it. I don't know how it started. No one who is still alive knows. In these early hours, many theories began to sound, from the almost plausible, like a new type of greenhouse gas, to the ridiculous theory, some kind of light that just evaporates water. I vividly remember the hours at which all this had yet to be identified. When humanity was not yet gripped by panic. What happened? I'll simplify it. The first is that every drop of pure water on the entire face of the earth just evaporates. I don't think I can describe it exactly, but I'll try. Can you imagine every river, lake, and all natural water sources drying up suddenly, without any cause? I doubt you can, but that's what happened. Drying also occurs in bottled water. As far as I know, all the water in bottles around the world also evaporates, as does the water in tanks and all other sources of water like that. Likewise with the water in the soda mixture also evaporates and leaves artificial sweeteners which if consumed will cause disease. Not a drop of water to be found to drink. Furthermore, another bad consequence of water loss is from nuclear plants. Without water pressure, most of the nuclear plants around the world, which use treated water as a coolant, lose their cooling power. And not even half of the generating companies have a backup plan, not to mention the existing backup plans are not very good or have never been tested. This resulted in catastrophic nuclear heating which melted approximately 46% of the reactor cooling water. The world went from being out of control to total anarchy. International communications were cut off almost exactly 24 hours after this started. Then came the second effect. Sea poison. Many people gathered at the salt water filtering building, hoping for safety. But they found nothing. In fact, together with global evaporation in the world, the salt content in all the oceans and seas around the earth has increased 5 times. Then fuel started to run out. And with the imminent destruction of civilization, thanks also to the nuclear holocaust, there is no more fuel delivery. Thus, the last drop of water was already pumped out around midnight yesterday. After the drought came the extinction. Without the availability of water, civilization soon ran wild. The government, which usually plays an important role, until the end tried to control the situation, but to no avail. The soldiers mutinied, shooting everyone, both rioters and ordinary people. Those who were still alive were then brutally killed. Then the rest of the troops who were still intact finished off and slaughtered one another. Rebels and other defectors fled, unwilling to surrender and watch the world's destruction. But then something much worse happened. Worse than anything that has happened. Actually, there is one more source of liquid that has never been touched. I was very lucky, because I was the first person to know about it in my city. It is blood. Blood is composed of 90% water, the only liquid still available to drink. And some people do. At first I couldn't believe they could do it. It's too terrible. At first they hunted animals. The humans who were too dehydrated began to drink blood from dogs, cats, and similar wild animals. Most simply produced too little blood to be of any use. The situation got worse because I lived in a big city environment and other than pets or rodents, there were no wild animals to catch to drink their blood from. Things might be better in the countryside or the slums, I couldn't possibly find out, and to be honest I didn't care. Then it dawned on me that the only option left was humans. The first time I saw him was 20 hours ago. An old man, dressed only in a sheet, walked slowly down the street that passed in front of my house, screaming for help desperately, shouting that all his nurses had run away and he desperately needed help. She was so pitiful that I almost opened the door to offer her a break from the scorching heat, and a bit of groceries. If I had been a second faster, this record would never have existed. Before I could open the door, 3 people, 2 men and a woman, lunged out from behind the trees. The poor old man did not move, as they pounced on him, mad with dehydration, then attacked him with carpentry tools. It was the most terrible deed in my entire life. One of the men took out a hammer, about to hammer the old man's limbs, one by one. Crack. 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 I vomited out a bitter liquid. Every time the hammer hit his bones, the crackling sound was really sickening. The other man brought a hoe. They slashed at the old man in unison, once, then twice. The tool sliced into the old man's wrists like a knife through a beefsteak. What I witnessed made me gag. After I threw up, I turned to look at it again only to increase my horror. Oh, I wish I'd never seen that. The unarmed woman jumped on the old man's chest. Both hands covered the old man's horror face while his 2 partners chopped. Then, as I watched, the woman stuck her thumbs into the old man's eyes. The woman howled like an animal sound I had never heard before. The woman stuck her thumb in even deeper, pressing in and out again and again. When they finished, blood and various kinds of organ fluids covered the woman's body. He grabbed a piece of the poor old man's body and ate it like fruit. I can hear chewing sounds from outside. They bent down and licked up the blood and I turned my face away from there. I call them drinkers. One thing I want to make clear. They're not zombies. They are not infected with internal diseases such as viruses or bacteria. They are fully human. I think dehydration affects them so much, worse than it does other people, it forces them to drink humans, inevitably turning them into self-styled cannibals or dying of thirst. They are the incarnation of the dark side of humanity. Drinkers are also seen to be able to recognize each other through some sort of signal. Since I'm not a drinkers, I don't know what the signal looks like. As quickly as I could, I gathered up some food reserves, some blankets, this note and my Desert Eagle 357 pistol, and took them all up to the bedroom above. I mustered my thinning strength to block the door with the bed and then I piled all the room's furniture on it. My Desert Eagle pistol is fully loaded with 7 bullets. And I still have a spare box of bullets. Enough to stop 13 drinkers and... yeah, I'm sure you know that. 6 hours passed. I'm really dehydrated. My tongue is numb and my skin is as dry as sandpaper. I ate some of the bread earlier, and I almost choked to death, no saliva to smooth my throat. Now besides being thirsty I am also hungry. I don't understand why I'm still writing. Maybe I need to be busy while waiting for the seconds before the extinction of mankind. Perhaps I am the key to hope that a solution to this disaster can be found, and that someone in the future will read my notes and remember this disaster. Maybe. I'm just imagining it. Conditions are getting worse. My breath is short and I'm getting weaker. This room feels like a sauna. I could almost see the heat evaporating across the room, getting thicker and thicker until I felt like I was being cooked alive. What a sad sight. My pen continued to write on the notepad as my consciousness faded in and out. I'm worried that I won't even be able to pull the trigger of my gun when the time comes. I'm so thirsty. The last time I peed, the water didn't come out and it was sore. I also haven't pooped for a long time. My vision was fading and sinking and my head felt like it was going to explode from the pressing heat from within. My skin is very dry and rough. I know I'm dying, but I still have the Desert Eagle. Maybe I should kill myself before I run out of strength to do so. God knows that's better than dying of dehydration or letting the drinkers eat me. Very thirsty. It's dark in here and I lost my gun. My vision is almost gone. Very thirsty. I'm going crazy. I am dying. Wait. What's that? So thirsty. Someone knocks on the door. They want to enter. They say the drinkers are coming. Should I? I do not know. Maybe I can drink. I'm so thirsty.